Okay, so with Mourinho's sacking today, let's have a look at the potential candidates to replace him, and there are quite a few. Now, I've taken a snapshot from the Daily Telegraph's website. They actually have more managers listed, and I decided to go with probably the most likely candidates to get the job. We'll start with Zinedine Zidane, who's currently unattached, ex-Real Madrid boss, 3 Champions Leagues. He's only at 92, he's not the favourite. He's unattached, and there were rumours linking him with the job earlier on at the end of the summer, beginning of the autumn, when Mourinho was having some struggles at the beginning of the season. There were rumours linking Zidane to the Man United job, so they haven't gone away. But whether he wants to take an interim job or not, because at the moment they're looking for an interim manager, and I think that's the wrong way to look at it. They need to look at a permanent replacement who can do some damage in the transfer market, so to speak, actually try and get some club transfer business going, because that's when Mourinho fell flat. As part of the reason why Mourinho's out of job is because he didn't agree on transfer policy. Zidane, I think, would look at the transfer market to bring in some players. I don't think he wants to be an interim manager, not in the slightest. But he's at 92 odds by the Daily Telegraph as we speak. Maurizio Pochettino, currently the Spurs boss, has just signed a contract extension. Why he's at 16 to 1, I think that's why. I don't think Man United and the Glazer family are willing to spend the money to get him out of his contract. And Pochettino's got more chance of winning silverware with Tottenham than he would do with Man United, where the club are. And I don't think Tottenham want to risk, their Champions League spot. They're forming the Champions League and possibly the FA Cup and possibly the league title by losing Pochettino and then having themselves find a replacement. I think he's out the running, personally. Then we look at Michael Carrick. He's been rumoured to be the interim manager for this weekend. There are no odds for him at the Daily Telegraph. They have put no odds down on him, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carrick gets the job in the interim term until a permanent successor is found. He was an assistant Man United, ex-player, of course, a long-time servant of the club. Played there for many seasons, won many trophies. Played with Tottenham as well, so there's a Tottenham link. He also played at Newcastle, so he's been around the Premier League for 20 years. He's now an assistant. He's survived the axing of Mourinho as a club coach, so he's still there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do look at him, like they did with Ryan Giggs after David Moyes was let go, for an interim basis for a handful of games, whilst they look for a replacement over the Christmas period. And this is the worst time to sack a manager. They could have done this at the beginning of December. They've waited till the middle of December. I think the timing's pretty bad. So he might have the job through Christmas until the transfer window opens, and they might bring another manager in. Because it's that time of year where a lot of people are on their Christmas holidays if they are on a winter break, as most European leagues are, or if they're unattached, they're probably celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah or Eid or whatever religious festival it is, and won't be available. But he's got no odds on him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does get a couple of games as interim caretaker boss. Then there comes Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the favourite according to the Telegraph, which I find interesting because he's manager at Mulder, so he is attached, and that means a buyout clause. And again, it will be less than Pochettino's buyout clause, but there will still be a buyout clause. He obviously is a club legend at both Mulder, where he's currently managing and being quite successful in the Norwegian League, and at Man United. The thing is, the Norwegian League is obviously a lower quality league, and whether Solskjaer would be happy being an interim coach knowing that his position is uncertain, I don't think he would like that. Mulder gives him certainty, and I don't think his business is actually finished at Mulder, personally. Also, his lack of Premier League managerial experience will count against him. Pochettino at least has that, and there's some others on this list that also have that managerial experience of the Premier League or at a higher level. So Solskjaer, while he's winning trophies at Mulder and competing in the top level of Norwegian football against Rosenborg, and he is a club legend, we've seen, appointing club legends doesn't always work. So Solskjaer, he is the favourite for now, and I will underline that he is the favourite, but I don't think he's my favourite. But he's in the running, so we'll hold fire on Solskjaer. Laurent Blanc, one of Solskjaer's old teammates, ex-PSG and France coach, he's at 92. Again, I'm not sure if Laurent Blanc, he's been the interim manager of clubs in obviously the French national side before. I think he would prefer a more permanent role. And again, the amount of time he's got between now and the transfer window is very, very small, and he hasn't coached in the Premier League. So that would count against him. However, he has coached PSG and he knows what it takes to coach a big club. But I think he would also not want to be an interim. I think he would want to be a permanent appointment. So I'm not sure about Laurent Blanc. And his odds are 92. But again, club legend, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to make the best fit as a manager. Even though these two guys Blanc and Solskjaer both know the club. Alongside Carrick, they all played with each other and against each other at various points in their careers. They could make a very good managerial team of three, like two assistants and a main manager. But I'm not sure if Laurent Blanc is the right fit. Then we look at Antonio Conte, possibly the outsider, and I think possibly the best fit for the club, which would be the ultimate insult for Mourinho. But he has actually won the Premier League as a coach with Chelsea, and he did turn Chelsea around from a poor team, which Mourinho had before. Yes, he followed Mourinho last time. When Chelsea fired Mourinho, they hired Conte, and within a season, he's won the Premier League with them. So Conte could actually be the natural successor to Mourinho again. He's only recently left Chelsea, winning the FA Cup, winning the Premier League. He knows the Premier League very, very well, and he's come in to clear up a Mourinho mess before at Chelsea. So Conte could be a good outsider to back. He's at 20-1 according to the Telegraph, but I wouldn't be surprised if those odds shrink overnight. Conte could definitely be in the running as one of the favourites very, very quickly. The issue with Conte is one of the reasons why he didn't last a third season at Chelsea was a transfer policy. Much like Mourinho with his struggles this summer, Conte did have some disagreements about transfer policy. And that sort of partly led to his downfall. He was unhappy with Chelsea's transfer policy as much as Mourinho was unhappy with Man United's transfer policy. So that could be a sticking point, his transfer policy. But he's won the Serie A multiple times with Juve. He's won the Premier League with Chelsea. Exceptional coach. And he does speak English, as we know. So he's experienced. He's a multilinguist. He has won the Premier League before as a manager. He is available. He's not attached to a club, which is really good. I think Man United should seriously consider Conte over Solskjaer or Pochettino because they're already attached to clubs that are actually more successful than Man United right now. So that's something to look out for. Now, there's another one on 20-1. Eddie Howe at Bournemouth. I'm not sure Bournemouth want to let him go. And I'm not sure Eddie Howe wants to leave Bournemouth. I think he might want to aim for the FA Cup with Bournemouth this year, for example, or try and get Bournemouth into a European spot. I'm not sure Bournemouth want to let him go. Eddie Howe has done an amazing piece of work at Bournemouth to make them what they are, a top 10 side. And they are competing with Man United for, trying to overtake Man United to try and chase down the European spaces. They're in that group of, I think, 5 or 6 sides that are very closely matched around Man United. Would Eddie Howe want to go from a club where he's given the time and a couple of defeats so there isn't the end of the world, where there isn't a lot of pressure on him? He's developing players well to a cauldron like Man United where it is a mess. Man United is a complete and utter mess right now. In retrospect, the fans do not expect Bournemouth to win the league. Man United fans expect Man United to win the league every season. So the expectation on Eddie Howe at the club he's at is not there. He's under no pressure at Bournemouth. The club are developing year on year, improving year on year. It'll be a big risk for him to go to Man United. Big risk. I'm not sure he wants to leave Bournemouth, really. And there's, again, a buyout clause. Some of the others on this list do not have clubs attached to them. So like Zidane and Conte, they don't have that buyout clause. Eddie Howe will have a buyout clause, and it's whether the Glazer family and Ed Woodward would be willing to spend the money to get him out of his contract. And he's 20-1, so he's on the same odds as Conte, but I think Conte is possibly the manager they'll go with. And the final one on my list, although there are a couple of honourable mentions before I get to Diego Simeone and my thoughts on Diego Simeone, Brendan Rodgers at Celtic, he's not going anywhere. He's on similar odds to Simeone. I think there's the ex-Monaco boss that Thierry Henry replaced. He's not taking the job, I can tell you that. There's a few other managers, like Arsene Wenger's been mentioned. I think Wenger is, happily retired, personally. But let's have a look at Diego Simeone. He's 33-1. Atletico Madrid coach. He's won La Liga. He's won the Copa del Rey. He's got Champions League finals. Prickly character, very similar to Mourinho in his prickliness. He's a very, 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 very prickly character. Would probably get a lot of touchline bans if he was Man United coach. But again, Atletico Madrid, European rival. They're doing very well in La Liga. They're doing well in the Champions League. And the buyout clause there would be huge, considering that he has also signed a contract extension with Madrid. So I can't see Simeone leaving Atletico. I don't think Simeone's style suits what the Man United fans expect and what Man United are used to having. He's a very more prickly character. He makes Mourinho look nice. Oh yeah, he's had many a touchline ban. But the fact that his teams regularly make European finals, and he's actually won the Europa League, he's won La Liga, he's I think won the Copa del Rey. He's won a lot of trophies with Atletico. He's turned them from a mid-table team when he took over to a solid top 3 La Liga outfit. I don't think he wants to leave a side that's successful. and his odds at 33-1 plus the buyout clause there will be insane. So these are the ones I'm going to discount. I'm going to discount Diego Simeone simply because his buyout clause would be huge. I think I'm going to discount Eddie Howe. I really am. I think again Bournemouth will probably offer him a contract extension. He's linked every time there's a managerial vacancy. He's linked with it because he's English. I think he's happy at Bournemouth, and I think Bournemouth are a better fit for him and what he's building at Bournemouth. They've got good continuity. I'm surprised Sean Dyche isn't on this list, to be fair. Michael Carrick, I think he will be an interim, and I'm going to put in. I will put interim underneath question mark, but I don't think he'll be a full-time appointment. Pochettino is going to be a no. Tottenham will not want to give up on Pochettino with their stadium rebuild and where they are in the league, even with nice odds. I would say Solskjaer is still in the running. I'll put him at, I would say, fourth place in the running. I would say Blanc is at third, Zidane at second, and Conte at first. I honestly think Conte and Zidane would be more likely to get the job. Partly because Conte's won the Premier League with Chelsea before and actually had to take a team that was a Mourinho team that was a mess and turn them into title winners. He did that. Zidane, he's unattached, so there's these two have got no buyout clauses. Laurent Blanc, ex-club legend, same as Solskjaer. But Solskjaer has a buyout clause at Mulder. They would have to agree some kind of termination package and compensation. And Mulder are having a very, very successful time in the Norwegian league structure under Solskjaer. They've regained some success that they were lacking for a long time. So I would say Mulder will be very, very concerned to lose Solskjaer as manager, and they won't have a replacement lined up. Plus, I don't think Solskjaer wants to be an interim for a short-term end-of-season kind of manager. I think he wants to have a full long-term 4 or 5 year plan. Laurent Blanc, he's been an interim before, but again, he hasn't coached in English football. That's what holds these guys back. Conte, for me, is the favourite. Even though he's at 20-1, I think he's actually the favourite. And he's turned around Mourinho mess at Chelsea. But the issue with Conte, and this is what I think holds Conte back, is transfers. And this is something that... yeah, that's it. Transfer policy. I think that's what killed him at Chelsea, and that's what's also killed Mourinho at Man United. His transfer policy is part of the problem. But that's my view on it. I wouldn't be surprised if any of these managers get the job out, to be fair. But the ones I think most likely, first place Conte, second place Zidane, third place Blanc, fourth place Solskjaer. I just think because there's a buyout clause for Solskjaer and the other three ahead of him don't have that, I'm not sure if the Glazer family are going to give Edward with the okay to buy him out of his contract and Mulder. Very similar to Pochettino. I think Pochettino is a very, very, very deep... I'm going to put fifth for Pochettino. But I'm not sure Pochettino, with his contract extension and what Spurs are attempting to do, would be happy to lose him. Considering they're A, above them in the league, B, they're doing better in Europe, and they're still in the title hunt. I'm not sure Tottenham want to, risk that. But there we go. That's my thoughts on who could replace Jose Mourinho at Man United, and my source is the Daily Telegraph. So thank you very much for watching. It's a bit longer video, but it's a very interesting one looking at who could replace Mourinho in the dugout at Old Trafford. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.